I'll just say this. I'm glad they ended it. Like, a lot of people are upset going, why? Oh, they should have waited and then started the game when the weather was better. No, I'm glad. Call the game. It's a meaningful game.
Yeah. There's more potential for injuries. You want to keep those guys. And it is the extra preseason game, too, for these guys. It wasn't like the final week where some of these guys had a chance, bubble, roster cut situation. Then you'd kind of feel bad for some of those guys who were maybe needed that extra quarter to make that play that was going to change their lives. From that game, the wide receiver from the Bears, Colin Johnson, he's been in the league now 4 years, 6'6". He was out there making plays. I think it's a nice end of the roster, because I went and looked this up today. He plays special teams. Had a bunch of special team snaps for the Jaguars and the Giants. It was on the Bears roster last year. I don't know why he didn't play. They clearly could have used wide receiver play last year. Wasn't that one of the things we all talked about? And the year before they traded for Chase Claypool. I don't know. I was definitely interested in that, and I think that's going to be one of the stories. Week 1, Hard Knocks, August 6th. I cannot wait to watch, because we're getting back-to-back great quarterback conversations for the show. Aaron Rodgers last year, Caleb Williams coming in, very polarizing figures to be at the forefront of Hard Knocks. I think Hard Knocks for the Bears is going to be exciting, and I got to try to manage my expectations and not have them, winning the NFC North. That's all I got to do.
His length,
and I think Brett Ripon and Case Keenum put on a show in case somebody's looking for quarterbacks in the offseason later on. Two veteran guys I thought did all right.
Rip and tore it up.
Just in case.
Anything? Nothing.
Well, I was gonna say that Collins kid reminded me a lot, especially when we ran that corner route in the end zone for the touchdown, the second touchdown. Looked a lot like Malcolm Floyd out there. A little Keenan Allen Malcolm Floyd reunion, but it's Malcolm Floyd's little cousin or something.
Well, he was doing a good job. He high pointed a couple of those balls. One of the catches got taken away. And here's the thing: Joe sent a joking message about it, kind of being watching the UFL league or whatever. And I thought that it was going to be sort of mediocre play. I thought the play was actually really high level when I watched the condensed version of it, so maybe it's more entertaining when you're just watching a 30-minute chunk instead of sitting there in between every play and watching it. But I watched the condensed version and I was like, oh shit, because I didn't know they canceled the game and it just ended. And I was like, hey, keep going. I wanted to watch more football, but I understand why they did it. And I agree with why they did it. But I think all the quarterbacks out there played pretty well, maybe except for Tyson Bagent. And receivers made plays. It was really watching CJ Stroud get psyched for Cam Akers, making that reception on kind of the screwed up play in the backfield there, but gets a gain of 13. It's fun to see that excitement and that enthusiasm, because that's the same thing we do. When these guys do it, we're jumping up and going crazy, and you get to see CJ essentially in fan mode at this point, not even in uniform, and he's just hyping up his guys. I love that shit.
When I saw Cam Akers on the field, I was like, one, what the hell is he doing out there in a meaningless preseason game? But it's also, two, I was glad to see him back on the field after everything that he's been through with the injuries, and finally seeing him out there. And then another thing I was surprised is Herbert really the third string running back for the Bears?
Joe, I was like, what is happening right now? How is this guy Oh, there's a couple positions like that.
Send in the trade. We need more running backs anyway. Send in the trade.
It is what it is, and I just saw that and I was like, Khalil Herbert's the number 3 running back for this team right now.
I was just gonna say, after his first carry, I was like, we don't need to see any more. Way to go! You made the team, buddy. You're on the squad.
I was about to say, I don't think he even needs to be out there, even if he is the third running back at the start of the season. And I was gonna say, for the Cam Akers thing, I was pumped to see that as well too, Joe. That first touchdown of the season was scored by Cam Akers this year, and also it just makes you reflect, holy shit, the Texans are really good. This offense is stacked, and they're going to eventually need Akers late in the season, probably at some point, to produce. And he looked good. He looks solid. So that's something that was exciting. One more thing on the Hall of Fame game, because we're running our time up here, guys, and I do want to talk about this list. Yeah. Is the kickoff. I know nothing exciting really happened on the kickoff. They had to return them. There weren't touchbacks. But did it bother you the way it looked? Did you like it? What did you guys think about it? What were your thoughts?
I'll go first. I was all in. I love it because we're getting to see extra plays, extra opportunities for points, and it didn't look like anybody really got hit that hard. I was watching an interview with a player, I think it was Julian Edelman. He was on the Herd this week or whatever, and he was saying that turf is kind of crap. So you did see a couple of guys try to make some hard plant cutbacks to maybe catch a seam, and they slipped. So I think next weekend when we get into it, and they're playing on better turf than what's at the field in Canton, maybe we'll get to see a little bit of fireworks. I think we're also going to get to see both of these kickers also just kind of did more of a hang time kick. I'm kind of interested to see if they start doing more like almost sort of squibbish style, like trying to mess with the returners where it's like they have to catch a bouncing ball and time it up that way. So I'm all for it. Like, I like the play.
I liked it too, and it was funny because I told my wife the same thing while we were watching the game, Tony, that somebody slipped on one of the kickoff returns, and she's like, "What happened?" I go, "That field's shitty. Like that field is never ever good." She was like, "Oh, okay," and I was like, "But we don't have the actual kick returners back there. We have guys fighting for their jobs on there. So when we actually get the real team, the real special teams out there, and they're actually running these certain plays." It looks like they said, it looks like a running play. So we're going to see a lot of different designs and ways to do it. But I think we're going to see more kickoff returns this year, like for touchdowns, than we have in a while. Like more exciting plays.
Yeah. Tony was even going a step further. Like, what if someone hacks it so well that they start to set some crazy records for returns? Because it's not that hard to break all-time records for return. It's just not really like a stat that's built up that high. We got like Devin Hester's numbers and a few other guys that you even have to try and reach. It's not like some of these other positions. I also noticed like the strategy on it was very simple. I wonder how the scale is going to be of them trying stuff out in the preseason versus, trying not to expose anything in the preseason. But there's going to be some polling. There's going to be some tricks to this where they bring guys from one side to come over to this side. And I am interested to see how the defenses adjust to that. Because when you start to get guys going north and south and they're colliding head on, there's a lot of risk for injury there, but the real danger and what I fear with this format, and I saw it a lot in the UFL and XFL, when they start to pull these guys across the line, you've got defenders who beat their man-on-man coverage, but there's someone coming full speed across the field to fucking destroy them like a pulling guard. So that's something that we'll see if we start to see some big hits where the returner takes it on the right side and is running lateral all the way to the left, and people are just getting fucking blindsided, blocked across the entire.
Well, they have two returners back there now, right?
And they can end around too.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be some of that stuff. There's going to be some trickery there. But they've taken a lot of the crackbacks and blindside hits and everything. Like we even saw in the preseason last year where there was like a running play, the Jets scored on, and Randall Cobb got flagged for an excessive crackback block on a wide receiver. Like he hit him where he wasn't shoulders weren't fully turned and opened up where he could see Randall Cobb coming. So they're pretty good about flagging that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's exciting to me.
We saw where it was just like they were just man-on-man blocking pretty much. You got this guy, you got this guy, you got that guy. It seemed way safer than kickoff.
I got to go hit the juju for my newest TikTok dance, but until then, feel free to check out the channel and subscribe. And more importantly, turn on that notification bell so that way you can be notified next time we upload or go live. We're going to be doing a lot of it this NFL season. I can't wait.